Welcome back to another edition of Boundaries and Brotherhood. I'm your host, Gordon Watt.
Oh, I'm here.
Invite link. I'm gonna hit that invite link when you do come share. Guys, if you're watching this on TikTok, please go on to our Facebook group, Boundaries and Brotherhood, our YouTube page. Get your questions answered. It'll pop up on our screen right here, and we can get this up. But from last week's episode, right? Today's topic, guys, is recovering abandoned dreams. Last week, Doctor suggests that that would be a cool potential topic because a lot of the times, as men, the responsibilities we have, we start losing our dreams. What you mean between purpose, being the role, the father, the manhood, the provider, the protector, all that good stuff, right?
Mhm.
Today's thing is, how do you recover your abandoned dreams and not just play the role that you think society wants to see?
I've been good, man. I've been extremely busy though, nonstop.
Let us know what we'll be doing. And tomorrow we have a thing at our building. Let us know what we'll be doing while we get a boss set up and do what we do.
Yeah. So today we're going to be discussing about abandoned dreams. And what I mean by that is a lot of times what happens with us as men is that we will get caught up with our responsibilities. We'll get caught up in our roles. We forget who we are. We will sacrifice dreams. We'll sacrifice goals. We'll sacrifice so many things, thinking that that's par for the course. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to sacrifice everything that you are and for your family and for your wife, for all that's what we think we're supposed to do. But again, kind of like I was saying last time, there's no one that said that you have to do that. There's no one that said that you have to abandon your dreams and your goals in order to take on the role of a father or a husband or a friend or whatever other role that you're partaking in, right? So today we're going to give you guys some strategies to recover your dreams and live the life that you're supposed to live in the first place.
How is it? Why do you think men abandon their dreams and abandon themselves sometimes?
Okay.
You don't ask the hard questions, guys.
It's not so much a hard
Guilty of it.
it's not so much a hard question as much as it's going to be a tough answer for people to swallow, because
course.
ultimately it boils down to trying to get love. That's what it boils down to. We think that if we sacrifice everything, we'll finally be worthy of love, and it just doesn't work. And so now you've abandoned your dreams, you still don't feel loved, and now you're miserable, and now you're looking for trying to get a badge of honor for being stoic, or trying to get a badge of honor for how much can I sacrifice, trying to say that that's masculinity and things like that. But yeah, that's what it boils down to.
For those of you out there that, all of us have dreams at some point or another. You want to do something, you wanted to be something. Remember that dream that you shelved, whether it's opening your business, walking away from your job, or not say walking away from your job. Let's explore why men abandon their truest passions and how to reclaim them without sacrificing any of the responsibilities. Because you can do both. You can do both. Because you got to think about, is your life draining you, or is it the things that you got going on? Do you want to figure out a way how to redefine success, repurpose it, or just go beyond just being the provider, protector, and rediscover what truly makes you alive as a person? Like me and my kids, me and my stuff. He's like, I feel more alive than anything.
Mhm.
You know what a Leslito is?
No.
Firearm.
Oh, okay.
Projectiles.
Spray balls or things like that.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
you got some weirdos now. You know what I mean? Like Walmart and everything else. And like, she feels like this is what it's coming down to. So one of the dreams of hers was actually getting one of those for her safety and the kids, right? Because I can't be around all the time. But remember a dream that you shelved, and that Doc's going to show you how to reclaim that dream still being yourself, if that's cool.
So I think first things first, right? Dismantle whatever negative beliefs that are keeping you from doing that. The idea of, oh, I have to sacrifice my dreams for my family and I just can't have it. It's just not going to happen. First, you got to dismantle that, because if you don't believe it can happen, then it's not going to happen. That's just a fact,
Interesting.
right? So that's the first thing. And the second thing is, go back. I always recommend people get the book Built to Serve by Evan Carmine.
Oh, look,
Yeah, if you're trying to find your purpose, if you're trying to find your passion, if you're trying to remember what, really drove you or made you excited, that book is a phenomenal way. It has the strategies and everything in it to help you do that. I've had that with my clients, and they're able to sizes in it, and they're able to find out, oh shoot, yeah, this is what I love. This is what I was used to. This does reveal my passion or my purpose or whatever it is. It's a time and time again. And guess where they have to go back to? They go back to when they were creative and they could dream, and then there were no limitations on their dreams or their goals. Like whatever they want to be, whatever they want to do, their mind was just there to do it.
dude,
So the first thing you do, dismantle the belief that you can't have it. The second thing is go back to when you were younger and start thinking about, again, that book could help you drastically, but go back to when you were younger and think about what are the things that you wanted to do? What were the things you do? What are the things you said to your parents you wanted to do? What are the activities you used to pour yourself into? What were those things that filled you up? Right? That's go back to that and you start trying to find those things out. And then the third step I would say is then also identify not just what made you give it up, but what point did you give that up? And what made you do that? Was it because, oh, I'm married now, so that's not feasible? Or, being in a relationship should enhance your life, right? It should
correct,
enhance your dreams. It
correct.
should enhance your goals. If you get into a relationship and say, well, I'm going to sacrifice my goals and sacrifice my dreams because they're not realistic or whatever, you shouldn't even be if you can't take care of a family or support a family, you shouldn't be doing things that cause you to have a family.
You open the can.
Well, I guess I'll just say it. You
Yeah.
shouldn't be having sex before marriage, right? You shouldn't be having sex before this is the person I want to marry and I'm in a position to actually have a family. I'll just go out there and say it. Because a lot of guys, you end up having sex before you get married or having kids way too soon. And then now all of a sudden, it's like, oh, now I got to work. Now I can't do this. Now I can't do that. If you didn't have kids, you were in a relationship, you probably could go on tour. If you didn't have kids, you probably could be an artist. You probably could do this. And then you could build it up to a point where you could sustain yourself. And then you get into a relationship and then you have kids. That's something else that we do as men. We start doing these things and taking on all these responsibilities and making our life way more difficult than it has to be. Because Gordon, I don't know about you, but I don't know of any guy that was forced to sit down and sleep with the woman and get married and then abandon his.
Yep. I mean, I'm guilty of it too. But not forced. It's like you do the things that didn't appease to you. And at the same time, when you're a selfish person like me, back in my past, you just didn't care about anything. You just abandoned everything. Because where it stemmed from was me feeling abandoned as a kid from my dad and mom. I completely understand where you're going with that because when you start abandoning your dreams for yourself, you start losing yourself and you start holding resentment for the people in your life right now. People in your life supposed to amplify you, whether it's in social life, make you feel good, your happiness. People are being people, right? But at the same time, people that you're supposed to be close with should amplify your happiness, your peace, and maybe your social life, not the opposite way around. If they're draining you, sometimes you just got to walk away from the people because if they're draining you, if life is draining you, something is definitely wrong. You know how life is good when life goes by fast. And coming from a person that sat in a prison for so long and being an addict and everything else, think about this. I wasted my time thinking I was being accepted with attention from being drug addicts, being all that good stuff, being a criminal. 10 plus years as far as being in prison, what? My ego? And trying to be accepted? And to think that was the dreams I was going to pursue compared to the dream that I have now that I'm living with my family? Because my biggest flex is always going to be my kids and my family and the man I became. All the other stuff is just fluff.
But I just want to add to that, man, because a lot of guys don't even know what their dream or purpose or passion is. Not only are there men that forget what their dream was and sacrifice it because they take on these roles too soon before they're ready. There's also a lot of guys that have no idea what they want to do. And when they finally find out, they have all of these other responsibilities on them now. I have a wife, I have kids, I have bills, I have credit, I have all these things. So now where I want to be a real estate investor, and I feel that's what I'm really good at. Well, you're kind of hamstrung. I mean, it's not impossible, but it's going to be a lot more difficult. Whereas when you were younger, if you could identify what your passion was, what your purpose was then, and then strive towards it, and the younger, the better, because you can get more time in. And let's say if a 7-year-old, well, I've known a couple of people that they wanted to do something right when they were younger, and they were able to pour in all this time and effort and energy. And guess what? By the time they became a young adult, they were rolling. They were doing phenomenal. So
Right.
being able to identify that, not just remember what you were into, what you loved, and things of that nature, but also being able to live it out and start practicing it when you're really young, when you have an abundance of time, right? So I don't want to stray too far from it, right? Because the whole purpose of if you abandoned your dreams, right? So
Yep.
not necessarily if you didn't know it or things like that, but if you abandoned your
And
dreams. So we're talking to the guys who they knew what they wanted to do, and for whatever reason, they didn't pursue it. So as far as that's concerned, you got to go back to your past, look and see again the book Built to Serve, find out what that was, and then once you identify what it is, are you label, you find all the things. We are made in the image of God, and there is nothing that if we set our mind to do, we can't do. It doesn't matter, right? Because you can say, oh man, yeah, I got a wife and I got kids, and Keith, you don't understand my financial situation. I can guarantee I could probably take your situation, I can throw it into ChatGPT and say, find me 10 people who become wildly successful under either the same circumstances or worse. And I can guarantee
absolutely.
it'll pick 10. So we can't use that excuse of, well, because of where I am now, I just, it's impossible for you to do it. You can start dreaming now, right? Maybe you can't go out there and just, okay, I'm going to abandon my job and start this business and just hope for the best. Maybe you can't run out there and do that, but maybe you can start planning. I know there was a guy in Dr. Thomas's camp. His name is Jamal King. He has this, he's called the 9 to 5 Millionaire. He has his own 9 to 5 Millionaire program. And that's not a plug or anything like that. I don't have anything to do with them. I'm just saying he was a
We got
police
our
officer.
own program.
Yeah.
We got our own program.
And got interested in real estate investing.
Okay.
But he couldn't just up and leave his job. He couldn't just say, oh my gosh, I'm so excited about this. I quit, you know? But what did he do? He started doing research. He started learning. He started growing. He started indulging, and he started finding deals and passing them off to other people. So by the time he got to a point where he could start doing things for himself, then guess what? He was able to leave his job as a police officer and fulfill his dream and his goal. So I want you guys to think along those terms, like whatever it is you want to do, it's possible to do it. Don't count yourself out. Don't abandon it. And I'm telling you, not only can you do it, especially with technology, the way things are,
Oh my
you
goodness.
can do it and still have a good marriage. You can do it and still have great kids. You can do it and still be involved. Will it take some more time and energy? Yeah,
Yes.
probably. But guess what? Maybe just, hey, I got to pull away from some things. Maybe I was heavily involved in this community stuff, but maybe I need to pull away from that. Or maybe I need to start cutting things out of my life that aren't actually fulfilling me anymore. And really start getting things organized and not just giving out my time and going and going and doing and doing. So I want you guys to think along those terms. Don't think about how it can't happen. Now I want you to think in terms of, now how can I make this happen? Not if, but how. What can I do with what I have now to start making this thing happen? Maybe it's just planning right now. Maybe it's just doing research. Maybe it's just learning. Maybe it's honing my skills. Maybe it's making YouTube videos. Maybe like whatever it is. Maybe it's getting into some AI thing and putting a business plan together. But you can start doing something today. And the beautiful thing about it is that once you start doing that and you start moving in that direction, guess what? Guess who's there to help you? Your wife could be there to help you. Your kids can be there to help you. You might have friends that be like, oh, shoot, man, hey, that's what you're trying to get into. Hey, I was thinking about that as well. You know, hey, let's partner together. But you start making progress moving forward. So just got to think with that mindset. Destroy the belief that it can't be done, that you're too far along in life or whatever the case may be. Destroy that belief. Go back to your childhood. Find out the things that filled you, the things that you enjoyed. And then once you do that, and of course, the book, Built to Serve. And then after you do that, then start thinking, okay, well, what can I do right now to start making this thing happen?
Coming from one of your people, Dr. Junior.
Your brother-in-law.
There you go. I can write you.
Also, Marlon, happy belated birthday. I don't have you on my calendar, but I'm gonna get you on it. So don't worry, I got you.
I got stuff falling out. Like a lot of the times, guys, it's all about challenging the beliefs and then taking some sort of action with momentum that you can have for yourself. Because even like I can put this thing on one of our PDFs that we can use to help you challenge your things. Because the situation that you might be in and how you're feeling about it and what actions you can take can be all on the left side. In fact, this is part of some of the things that we're going to be going over in our workshops, right? So some of the people watching this right now might recognize these things, right? The situation might be here, an event right here, right, Doc? Dreams, right? Let's do this just for the hell of it, just to show these people that we can do this on YouTube, TikTok, and everything else, right?
Mhm.
What's your belief about your dreams? These are some of the stuff we teach in our workshop, Doc, and this is the stuff I use, right? What's
Mhm.
the emotional outcome if you can't fulfill your dreams, Doc?
Disappointment,
Right?
you know,
And what happens to that behaviors when you have disappointment?
if you stay focused on disappointment, you become less productive. You really
Right.
focus on the negative, so you get less done.
This is one of the things we're going to be doing with you when you work with us. I mean, we're just doing this as an example.
Yeah.
Now,
If you get stuck there,
give me a value that you can use to challenge that with Doc to help you change your perception of fulfilling your dreams.
resilient, being resilient.
Right. So we're going to use that. We're going to use resiliency. Now, if you change your perception that you're a resilient, how would you think of yourself as being so much different as an attitude?
Being different as an attitude.
How would that change your attitude?
Oh, if I'm resilient, then I believe I can do anything. There's no
Right.
setback that can keep me back.
So basically, you change how you're moving around, right?
How you think, how you
But
perceive,
the desired outcome,
you would achieve your dream, whatever that dream might be, right?
when you can achieve your dreams, how will your behavior change?
Oh, you'll be more motivated, more energized. You'll have a better thought process. You'll be more pleasant. You'll be driven.
Everything comes down from that, right?
Yeah.
But look, we started out with you couldn't do your dreams. Everything on the right here changes your perception. And guys, this is created for you to change your dreams, to change your perceptions.
Yeah.
Once you know how to do this, life gets much easier. Behaviors, goals, dreams. I hate
Yes.
to
Yeah.
when, for example, somebody that has, I had a guy call me up. He goes, Gordon, and this has happened this week. You know, I get calls during the week about guys
Mm.
reaching out. He was Gordon, I want to learn something, this stuff, work is not doing good. How would I go about it? I told exactly what you said
hmm
and what action you're going to take.
hmm
What would you tell this person the steps to take?
Well, first and foremost, if they're stuck in anxiety and depression, we got to get that cleared out first because you're in
Right there.
survival mode. I think we talked a little bit about something like that last week. First and foremost, I would look at the depression. I would say what's overwhelming you in your life. We get that categorized. We would prioritize what needs to be prioritized. And then after that, we would either delegate, automate, or eliminate whatever else is
Delegate, automate.
get them to understand what they can control, what they can influence, what they can accept, or what they have to accept, what they have to let go of. Clear out the overwhelm, clear out the depression. Then we'd attack the anxiety, see what they think that they're not prepared for, and then rationalize it. Anxiety is not a hard, I mean, honestly, it's one of the easiest emotions to process through. It's very, very simple. It's because it's actually one question. Do we have the capacity to do the thing that's coming our way? That's all it is. And the answer is yes. If the answer is yes, you're done. That's it. You stop right there. If the answer is no, okay, then what do we got to do to prepare? That literally is it, right? And so I would clear all that stuff out the way. Then once we clear that stuff out the way, now we could actually move from survival to thriving. And then I would start asking the question, hey, what's your dream? Well, my dream is to be in the NFL, right? Okay, great. Your dreams to be in the NFL. All right. And then we'd go through and get the different information and things like that. And also be realistic, right? If you're 50 years old with a bad hip and your dreams to be in the NFL, yeah, I'm gonna be realistic with you. Like, hey, I'm not saying you can't put the work in,
Yeah.
stuff like that. But I'm just going to keep it a stack. Like your competition is 20, 30, young 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds, like seasoned 30-year-olds and things like that. They're in the prime of their life, right? Could you do it? I mean, if the team's willing to take a chance on you, right? But I'm never someone to tell you like, no, that's impossible. You can't do it because if,
Anything's
how many,
possible.
how many things would not happen if someone were to tell other people it's impossible, it can't happen?
Oh,
Online bookstore, that's not going to work. That's stupid. Don't do that.
look at Amazon.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at Mr. Steel Cookies. I'm following that exact blueprint right now with somebody else's product.
So I'm never going to tell someone they can't have it unless it says completely unrealistic. Like, you know what? I want to, I want to be a baby again. Well, all right, bro. Let's do the real work now. We're not even going to talk about your dream. We're going to be working on like what's really going on inside of here because there's something. Let's get you back on track in reality.
Right.
So we're talking about people who are, hey, be realistic. And more often than not, what are the dreams? Hey, I want to play in a band, or hey, I want to start a business, or hey, I had this idea to create something. Hey, I want to do this career, or whatever the case may be. So then we start talking about, okay, how can we do that dream? Or how can we do an adjacent to that dream? Sometimes it's like, yeah, well, the dream's just not going to really pay out like that, right? Unless you like really learn how to monetize it and turn it into a business and things of that nature. But some guys don't even want that. Some guys are just like, you know what? I just want a cabin in the woods where I can just live off the land. That's my dream. I don't want anything else. That's what I want. All right, cool, man. But I got a family and I got this and I got that. Maybe we can start working on putting a plan together to get this man the cabin, and maybe they can go vacation there for a little bit. Maybe it's like, okay, you can't live there full time for whatever reason, but we can get there for vacation for now. Then when the kids get older or your finances get to a certain level or whatever, then it's like, oh, we're set. Now we can go live in the woods and we're good coming to town. So you asked a question, if someone comes to me and they're riddled with anxiety and depression and overwhelm and stuff like that, I clear that stuff out the way first. Then once they have their dream and their goal, then we start talking about how to achieve it because we have to move a positive frame of mind when we're talking about any of these things. So we're not listing all the ways it can't happen. That's a horrible way to go about it, right? You talk about all the ways that can happen. Will some things be difficult? Yeah. I'm not saying, some things may be difficult, but it's not a matter whether it's easy or difficult. Anyone who has a dream, you're trying to achieve it, it's going to take time. It's going to take effort. There's going to be setbacks. There's going to be failures. There's going to be all that stuff like that. But the dream and the outcome and what you're looking for on the other side is bigger than all that. So that's the process that I would take them through.
Because a lot of the time, for putting your dreams on the back burner or shoving the dreams, like I said, it happens in life. But it's a good thing if you got the second chance, if you're still breathing, to get physically fit, to get healthy. Say that it's your dream. I mean, somebody else's dream could be where you are right now, and you could be setting that example for it, right? Mm-hmm. I remember when I just came out, I was catching the bus, right? Because you got to catch the bus. You got to get a job. You got to get your bus, get everything. And I used to look at people like, I used to tell myself, I'm going to get this car. I'm going to get this. I'm going to buy this house. I'm going to get that. And everything, for some reason, came true because I manifested it also in a way that asking God, and he just provides the signals for it. So you should never shelve your dreams. It's yourself. It's the boundaries. It's the limitations you put on yourself, the excuses that you made, and maybe the people that you kept around. Because the people that you keep around also affects what your dreams do, because some of them that you keep around might turn out to just be your known nightmare. I mean, so let me ask you this, Doc, right? When it comes to unshelving your dreams, should they work on momentum or work on themselves first and figuring that out first before they start going into that direction?
Oh, yeah, you should definitely figure yourself out first. On a book I'm writing, the first chapter is about relationships. The first chapter is about you got to get yourself right first. And if you're not right, everything else is going to be tainted after that. You have to be right first. Some of us get into relationships for the wrong reasons. It's supposed to be we can build together. But a lot of people get into relationships because, what you can do for me. That's not the purpose of a relationship. Some people, they try to strive after their dream because they're trying to feel loved or wanted or considered or, get that validation. That's a terrible, terrible reason to strive for your dream. And it's not saying they can't be successful in it, but they'll never be fulfilled, ever. Those are the ones that are on drugs. Those are the ones that are alcoholic. Those are the ones that are divorced or remarried 3 or 4 or 5 times. Those are the ones who are considering unaliving themselves. That it's like, how's that possible? You literally have everything. You're successful. You have people. You have a company. You got money. You're on this. And it's like, yeah, because it wasn't using a dream for the right reason, right? And
Yeah.
so, yeah, work on yourself first, because our dream shouldn't just be about us. If your dream is just about you, the dream is too small. It's
True.
too, it's a strong possibility.
Let's not for panel.
The dream you have should be bigger than you. It should be, whether it includes your family, or whether it's like, I want to affect people in this way, or I want to help
Mhm.
population. It should be something like that, something that's so big that if you achieve it, or when you achieve it, you just keep growing it and you live that out for the rest of your life, and you pass the torch on to someone else behind you who will keep that thing going. That's how a dream is supposed to be. It's not just about, oh, what makes me feel good.
Part of it.
You'll feel good in it. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, but I'm
Yeah.
saying your only purpose is just to feel good. I don't know if that would be more so a dream or more like a hobby. So maybe the example of
Mm.
even like the cabin in the woods, that doesn't really help anybody else except you. So that might be more like a hobby, and that's okay to have that.
Absolutely.
I'm just saying, as far as dreams are concerned, it should be something that's going to change somebody's life somewhere down the line, because that's where the fulfillment comes in. But you'll never get that fulfillment if you're doing it for the wrong reasons, which is why you got to get yourself right first. So I know as I'm entering into this space, I'm being genuine and authentic. I'm not trying to get anything from you. I'm not trying to, force you to love me, or I need your validation, or I'm not doing that. I'm simply doing it because, hey, I want to provide this value or achieve this in order to make other people's lives better. So yeah, you got to get yourself right first, so that you don't taint everything else that comes after that. But if you're not right first, you're going to inherently, whether you want to or not, taint what happens after that. And it's unfortunate.
No, I get that part 100% because the fulfillment that you pour into it for something that you said is going to be tainted, everything is going to be a wash later on at the end. And karma is going to come bite you in the butt because it's not from inside. I'll give you a perfect example. In the federal government, there's a thing called poison fruits of the forbidden basket, right? So in convict, personal, federal times, when you get busted and they say that anything that you did after your seed money, your dirty money, they take everything away. And it's the same concept the way I see it, right? If your intention and your dreams was to something, but it's selfish, it would never blossom into something bigger than yourself, like Doc said, right? Because like you said, if the dream is bigger than yourself and it helps other people get into that, you start pouring more into people and that's fulfilling your dream, right? Now, if your dream is basically something that you're going to be used to take, but you disguise it as something that's helping people, it will not work. I've done that. I've tried it. It didn't work. For some reason, nothing gets lined up. But once you are wholehearted into that, and it's your dream and it's your passion, you're going to have an integral personal fulfillment and a responsibility to others. And for some reason, things will just line up and fall right in place. Let me ask you this now. How do you say I'm a man and I have a dream?
Mhm.
How would you, whether it's a wild dream or something like, how do you get your partner, your relationship, your wife, your other half, whatever, on board? Is it through sharing, communication? Like, because you're in that space, right? I see a lot of smirk from Doc there. Something's gonna happen.
It goes back to what I was saying before, right? About, you got to make sure you know what you want to do before you start getting to these relationships.
True.
So, for example, if your dream is to be a long haul truck driver, like that's what you want to do, you want to travel all over the nation, you probably better get a woman who's cool, like driving with you all over the nation. Because you being gone for months and months at a time, or weeks and weeks at a time, is not conducive to a relationship. But if y'all in the truck together and you're like, yeah, we don't really want kids, at least not right now, maybe things will change later on down the road, then that's you can make that work. Or imagine if it's like, I want to start a business and this woman's like, cool, because I'm great with accounting. That's great. So it's really important, gentlemen, if you're not in a relationship or you just got out of a relationship, you don't hop back into another one. Get yourself right. Find what to do. Find out your dreams. Start striving towards those. So now when you go out and you're actually dating with intention, you could actually get and start talking with women that align with you a whole lot more as far as your dreams concerned. And this is so that you don't have to, again, abandon your dreams. Now, for those of us who are married, we didn't do it the right way for whatever reason. What you want to do is have that open, honest communication with your spouse. You got to talk with her, right? And you have to take what she's saying into consideration. And the thing is, let's just say this is King Dicey, right? So I'd be like, yeah, I don't think it's a great idea, whatever. And a lot of guys would be like, well, shoot, she's not backing me, then I guess I'm just not going to do it. No, not necessarily. I'm probably going to disturb some homes right now.
Wait, let me focus on there.
Yeah.
On you right now.
What I'm not saying is go take the mortgage money or let's do all this stuff behind the scenes that's going to disrupt the whole family. What the heck? Oh, yeah, I'm about to say, no, you do not want to put your family, because remember, you took on those responsibilities. When you got married, you had kids, you took on that responsibility, said, I'm going to take care of them. You took that responsibility on. So you don't want to put your family in a situation where it's like, dang, now we homeless. Now we're living with our in-laws again or something like that, right? So you got to make sure you're talking with her and you're on the same page. If for whatever reason you're not on the same page, but she's like, hey, listen, I don't really want that. But hey, if you can do it and it doesn't affect anything, by all means, right? As long as you're taking care of your responsibilities, you're not jeopardizing the family or anything like that, by all means, go ahead and do it. You can start with planning, right? When you think about it, anyone's doing a dream. It doesn't just start with, well, now I'm in the big building, you know, I had to go $3 million debt on it. I don't even know if it's going to work. Like, you don't know what jumps to that. So you could start building out your dream and you can start small. You don't have to get it all at the same time. But if you now this is where you have the partner who's saying, hey, I think it's a bad idea and you better not do it.
Talk about that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's when you got to put your foot down and say, I'm going to do it.
Have you had clients that come to you for that type of situation?
Honest truth.
Interesting.
You know, all the clients, because again, if you have a good relationship with it, you want 9 times out of 10, you're not going to have that. People love each other. So that's more of an outlier than anything else. And if your relationship is that bad and that toxic, then why are we even talking about having dreams with someone like that? And then maybe that's what it is. A lot of guys who have dreams and goals, because the relationship is so toxic, they don't want to open up and share. So that's why I don't see a lot of that stuff coming. So the first 2 examples, right? You have the wife that's all on board and great. You know, chances are the communication is probably great in your relationship. You know, for the next one, maybe she doesn't necessarily align up with, you know, she's cool with you doing it, but it's just like, hey, don't put us at harm, you know. And then the third example, if you have someone that's detrimental and that's saying like, hey, listen, I'm going to punish you for trying to go for your dream, you know, which to me sounds like a toxic relationship anyways, which we consider that. But that's when you put your foot down and you say, I'm going to do it, right? Because chances are, I'll say this, chances are, if you know,
because most people are too busy building someone else's dream.
If you're with someone like that, you know, who's just poo-pooing your dream and things like that, you have more serious issues going on. But that's when you would set up boundaries, right? So you probably wouldn't share anything with them, right? Y'all, you probably wouldn't talk to them about your dream anyway as you're building it. Because if they're not going to build you up, if they're not going to support you, or at least not tear you down at the very least, then you don't want to, you probably shouldn't be open up and sharing with that, right?
If you have a question, go on to Boundaries and Brotherhood on Facebook, my personal Facebook page. If you're on this TikTok, go on to YouTube, search up Boundaries and Brotherhood. You can get your questions answered right now, free, live, leading on, because this is when we're going to hit. I'm going to ask a question because I know when I cut up this, it's going to be really good, right?
Yeah.
Why do dreams go abandoned? Because most people are building somebody else's dream. How would you answer that one? Is it because of like you said, no communication, no boundaries, or is it just something that most people passively do?
Another uncomfortable answer.
Yes, so uncomfortable here.
Yeah, people pleasing, right? And what is people pleasing? I'm trying either to avoid getting hurt or I'm trying to earn love. Neither is good. Neither is good.
Okay, I get that.
Yeah. Think about it. I'm not being nice because I'm just genuinely nice. A lot of times people pleasing people think that. At least I thought that. And a lot of people I've worked with thought that. But when you dig a little bit deeper, and you don't have to dig that deep, what does it really boil down to? Me, I didn't want to get hurt. Right. So if I'm overly nice and overly
Right.
sacrificial and always giving, then guess what? No one's going to hurt someone like that. Generally, they're not going to hurt someone like that. But there's a lot of people that find out like, shoot, I still get hurt. Or you think like, I continue to pour out and sacrifice and pour out and sacrifice, then finally they will see it and they'll recognize all the sacrifice and they will finally love me. This doesn't work either. So we're coming at it from a wrong perspective, right? So that's why I would say if people are abandoning their dreams or things like that, it's like, we shouldn't do that, because maybe it's two people, husband and wife, and they're like, hey, we both have these dreams, but they're going like this, right?
Apart.
And in order for us to achieve our dream, this is the thought process, one of us has to lose. My question is why? Why
I
do
would
we
love to
have,
say, why would one have to lose?
we should be
What?
sitting down and talking about how can we both win? What are the steps? Maybe it's like, yeah, I want to be a rock star and travel all around the world. And it's like, well, I want to be a teacher and work in a school. All right. And it's like, well, shoot, we have two completely different dreams. Like they're going in different directions, right? Okay, well, let's sit down and see how we can make it work. Maybe the wife or the husband, whoever it is, maybe they do virtual stuff. So maybe they can travel with their spouse and do virtual stuff. I don't know, right? But there should be talking with one another. It shouldn't be abandoning my dream to fulfill your dream. It should be, how can we fulfill our dreams together?
Together.
How can we both win? I don't want my wife not being able to do the things that God has designed her to do, that she's, I don't want to take that from her, right? And then vice versa. She doesn't want to take that from me. We want to build each other up. So that's what I would say, when you're in those situations, you should be able to talk about what your dreams are, because sometimes people abandon their dreams quietly. So for instance, the husband says, hey, I want to go do this. And the wife was all loving. It's like, okay. But she's not telling him, yeah, I really want to do this too. But she says, well, let me sacrifice this because I love him so much. Well, he loves you too. He wouldn't want you to just sacrifice. Or vice versa. The guy's like, well, I'm going to build my wife up and I'm going to sacrifice because that's what I'm supposed to do. I'm not going to tell her about my dreams because, she's just on the up and coming and the rise and everything like that. And it's like, but you didn't open up. And it's unfair to the other spouse, because sometimes what ends up happening is now we have that resentment like you talked about earlier.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I gave up all this stuff for you. And what do people usually say? I didn't ask you to give that up for me. That's usually the phrase, which is a dagger in someone's heart. Can you imagine? Yeah. I gave up my dream, although I wasn't asked. I gave it up because I love you. At least that's what I'm saying. And then you get it thrown back in your face like, I ain't never asked you to do that. So essentially, your sacrifice means nothing. I didn't have to hold that over my head.
And that's why people divorce at a later age.
But ultimately, they're not wrong. If you didn't open up and say, hey, this is my dream. Now, if he said or she said, hey, you know what? Hey, your dreams, I don't care about, right? F you and your dreams, right? If that's what they're saying, right, then that, of course, that's a problem. But if you're not speaking up, if you think that sacrifice automatically equals love, or that's not how it works. So I would say you need to really ask yourself the question, sit and have an honest conversation with yourself. What makes me think I have to sacrifice my dream in order for him or her to have their dream? Like, why is that the case? Like, who said that? Loving conversation, because we love each other and we both should be trying to make each other win. That should be what we're trying to do. So I would say that's how I would respond to that, as far as like abandoning your dream for somebody else. That's what I would say.
That's deep. A lot of times people go through this type of stuff, but they don't want to be open about it and actually hold that resentment later on in life. But when you build each other up and you lift each other up, so both dreams can coincide with each other, guess what happens? Now your life is amplified. You have kids involved, it amplifies it. As long as you have open communication, dreams are still being fulfilled, and it's working towards that.
Yeah.
Guess what happens? The sacrifice is always usually temporary, right? The sacrifice that you could is temporary because that dream can still be fulfilled, right?
Yes.
With the right people supporting you, with the right people encouraging you, with the right people that you might not have. And even if you're not getting it at home, you can get it with us through the Brotherhood or
Yeah.
people that support you in every way, because it's good to have people that understand different angles and want you to succeed, not just in your relationship, but in life in general.
Yeah.
Because even like my friend, your truck driver, I got a friend that he's like one of my best friends. He started out living in my room when I didn't have nothing. He lives in a $3 million house, but he's always had that open communication with his wife. And I
Mhm.
watch his daughter. This is how close we are, right? But it's like he does work hard, but they both were on the same page, and this is what they was going
Yeah.
through. Now, if you're in a situation where you might not have the communication skills, you might be stuck in not finding your purpose. You might be stuck in not having the confidence, right? This is what this page and channel is all about. It can be in the dating, it can be in business, it can be in using tools, right? In fact,
Mhm.
I have meetings right after this because I got a couple companies wanting me to do some work for them. And
Mm.
that's part of my dream, dissecting marketing plans for other people, right?
Yeah.
I'm really damn good at it. I didn't even realize that shit either. Andrea said, just go for it. At the end of the day, she knows it's temporary because I've done it before,
Mm.
before when we had these kids. Now the kids is all kind of like getting independent.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a perfect time because now I'm just laying the groundwork. Hit us up, guys. We should end it right there. I kind of went off for a little while. I did the doc move.
Well, let's wrap it up. The whole idea is about recovering abandoned dreams, right? And so destroy the belief first and foremost that you can't do it, that it's impossible, right? Of course, we're talking about realistic dreams. There are some dreams, it's a little too late for those, right? A little too late once you graduate, right? That's done and over with. But there are many realistic dreams that we could still achieve, right? So maybe if you're even that you're a 50-year-old and it's like, well, maybe not that, but I still want to play football. You can get yourself in shape. There are plenty of semi-pro leagues and all
Oh,
types of stuff
absolutely.
out there that you can still thoroughly enjoy for yourself. Or if you want to start that business, there's so many stories that you could take your information. If you really think that your situation's impossible, just write it out, however you want to write it out, put it into ChatGPT and say, hey, this is my situation. Please find me 10 examples of people that had a similar situation and still were able to be successful. And I can promise you it will pump out 10 examples of
Oh,
people who
yeah.
are being successful, right? So you have to know that whatever you're trying to achieve with whatever your scenario is, you can achieve it 100%. Identify what your purpose is. That's going to be a huge help for you. Once you have that, then you get fulfillment. But make sure, like we talked about earlier, you're good first so that you could actually be authentic in what you're doing, not trying to do it in a way that's people pleasing, in a way that's trying to get validation, in a way that's trying to get conditional love. You're not trying to do it like you're just trying to do it because it's what you love and you want to help the people. Then, if you're in a relationship, work on your communication skills, talk to your wife about your dream and what it means to you. Have that open discussion. And again, it's either she's going to be all in or at the very least, she'll be neutral as long as you're not destroying the family as a result.
Correct.
Right. And if you're in a situation where your relationship is so bad and off kilter, then maybe the conversation about your dream, maybe that's not the go to right now. Maybe the conversation needs to be about, hey, what do we got to do about this relationship? Are we going to work on it, make it better? Or are we going to, call it quits? And then I'm going to go off and do what I'm ready to do. I'm not advocating legal. I'm just saying if you're in that situation, it can be very difficult. I'll tell you that when your relationship is not good, it could weigh on you heavy. Even if you're not open up and talking about your dream, if your relationship is really bad, it can weigh on you and drain you. It could really can. So getting that stuff worked out will be very beneficial and helpful. I mean, in business, they say the most important business decision you can make is who you decide to spend the rest of your life with, right? Who you decide to marry. So keep that in mind. And as far as like abandoning dreams, for other people, don't. There should never be a need to. You should be open and authentic the very moment you meet someone. And for those of you who don't know what your dream is, right? Take time to figure it out. Take time to figure it out. We mentioned the book earlier, Built to Serve. Strongly recommend you reading that book. And also I will say this, the last thing, right? If you don't know what your dream is and your spouse does know what her dream is, then help her build her dream.
Right.
Why not? You ain't doing nothing in the meantime, anyways. Help her build her dream. Still try to figure
Right.
out what yours is, But if you don't know, then help her with that. So that's how we'll wrap it up with that, Gordon. Right.
I just wanted to say this because Doc also has a book writer. Doc has a book that he just wrote for the relationships. You can find it on Amazon right now. Doc, what's the name of your book, Doc?
It's called Yes, Sir.
It's so new, we didn't even get it yet because it's still coming in the mail, right?
Still waiting on it
But
to come
I was
in.
just
Yeah.
going to say, we're Boundaries and Brotherhood. If you're looking for emotional mastery, somebody that wants to help you hold yourself accountable, you need somebody to lean on, and you want to master communication and build up your self-esteem. We're a group of men, that's his legal profession, where you can get real life coaching from insights from my past history. I want to tell you this right now. You see a lot of people doing videos with the jail guys and all this stuff. None of them are partnered up with a doc, a therapist to get you the help that you need. You have insights, real world insights, plus real life coaching from a real life therapist that we've been working together for a long time right now. But at the same time, if you want your questions answered and you want to take the assessment, you want to learn about how you can move on and fulfill your dreams, take the assessment down below, assessment.boundariesandbrotherhood.com, to get into our community. We will reach out. And please, if you're watching this on TikTok, please hit that follow, like, share button. If you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe and hit that notification bell, because if you know anything about me, every day I post on automation. There's about 9 videos that help you out throughout the day. One day could be about dreams, one could be about this. And a lot of it comes from our past content that has worked, from Doc himself. Guys, let's end with that. We'll see you next week, Thursday. Doc, you have any closing remarks besides that?
Well, you could scan that QR code right there to
I
start.
think the QR code is backwards.
Yeah, it can still look backwards. My wife said to other people it's supposed to look forward. So
Okay, it's a mirror.
yeah, honestly,
Finger
I'm not hard to find. I was talking to someone at one point in time, and we were parting ways, and I said, I can't give you my information, but I promise you I'm not hard to find. Type in my
Yes,
name,
sir.
Fairclough, I'll be at the top of the list, right? And I'm not saying that braggadociously. I'm just saying I'm not hard to find. I'm on all social media, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, then Instagram. I'm on all those. So just look me up. I'm on the mental health platform, Psychology Today, Alma, Headway, Simple Practice,
Oh,
Express. I'm everywhere you want to be.
this could be a new tagline. We're everywhere you want to be. All right, guys, this is Gordon Watt from Boundaries.
Y'all have a great and blessed week, and we'll see you next week. All right.
All right, I'll see you guys. Bye.